Hey Dunchbags, what's going on? It's Landon Remixes here, and it is time for my review of the newest album from BLACKBEAR. This one is called Digital Druglord. BLACKBEAR is a writer, a producer, an R&B singer, known in the past for penning hits such as Justin Bieber's Boyfriend, but more recently BLACKBEAR has seen a lot of success as a solo artist, with some decent crossover appeal to fans of electronic music. A bunch of remixes of his tracks have been featured on Trap Nation and have gained many millions of views, as well as many of his originals containing very future bass influenced productions. I can definitely see the appeal behind an artist like BLACKBEAR, and you know, I have enjoyed my fair share of BLACKBEAR in the past. More specifically, BLACKBEAR's Cashmere Noose EP that came out just last year, containing a track that I enjoyed quite a bit called Wanderlust, a track that kind of makes fun of the Instagram model complex. A really fun track in terms of production with moderately creative lyrics. However, taking a look at this LP, the first big studio album that BLACKBEAR has had to offer since his big rise to fame, Digital Druglord is very much on the opposite end of the spectrum. I found very little enjoyability in this album, and it actually, in a lot of places, pained me to listen to. The production on this album isn't super diverse. There are a couple spots where, like I said, BLACKBEAR does have a little bit more of that future bass leaning beats, but that only comes in on really a couple different spots on this album. And usually as a critic, I can look past a moderately bland production if at least the lyrics are saying something kind of profound, but BLACKBEAR doesn't really have that on his side either. In fact, most of the lyrics on this album are very blunt, very surface level, very depressing. Digital Druglord is a very slow-moving journey with BLACKBEAR kind of just sagging through this thing, repeating practically the same lyric themes track by track. In fact, there's very little variation when it comes to the tracks on this album. I do cocaine, I'm depressed, I don't care, you screwed me over, but I probably deserve it. And it might seem a tad hypocritical for me to be criticizing this, considering a lot of the themes in a lot of Eden's recent music, notably I Think You Think Too Much of Me, have kind of been centered around the same type of deal, but at least with Eden, every once in a while he kind of switches it up. He has a lot of different themes flowing throughout. There's a lot of different stuff to figure out. With this album, practically every track is repeating the same thing. In fact, I don't really see the appeal behind an album like this at all. I can see someone kind of listening to maybe one or two of the songs on this album, and then you basically get the whole thing. And I myself have actually enjoyed my fair share of depressing music in the past, but even with that, I'm still flustered. I don't understand the context in which anyone would listen to this album. It doesn't make sense to me. Unless you're just into really dull, drab, electronic R&B music and don't really want to pay attention to the lyrics, this album is very hard to listen through. And you know, I actually went into this album with fairly high expectations, and after listening through it the first time and being so severely disappointed, I went in and did some research to see if there's something truly deeper behind this album, some kind of irony that I'm missing, and it turns out there's not really anything. Even BLACKBEAR's hardcore fans that have annotated his lyrics for this album on Genius don't really have anything to say either. Everything is very simple and surface level. In fact, some of the only lyrics on this album that I thought carried any kind of deep connotation to them were the ones where BLACKBEAR is mentioning God. This user on Genius Sensei says, BLACKBEAR has discussed and nobody knows his desire to find spirituality. Despite this desire, Bear still falls back into the same old habits and mannerisms that he resents. And that's kind of cool. I'd even like to see an LP where BLACKBEAR kind of expands on this idea and his struggle to find spirituality kind of clashing with his drug addictions and everything like that, and kind of making the lyrics maybe a little bit more profound. But you know, he comes out with this line, "My soul is burning, needs Jesus Christ," and then just goes back into his old ways. "My mom's unhappy with all the choices I've been making in my life. I don't even care though, I'm probably gonna die like everybody else." That's literally what the lyrics say. And I think I've made my thoughts pretty clear at this point. I did not like Digital Druglord. When it comes to the lyrics of this album, there's not a single song that I've really wanted to come back to, but when you just look at a song's catchiness, I did find some enjoyment. I found myself coming back a couple times to the song Do Re Mi, which was the lead single off of this album. Although even with this one, I have a hard time getting into the song just because BLACKBEAR sings the solfege pitches Do Re Mi Fa So in the wrong pitch. And like I said, with the rest of this album, cocaine, other drugs, heartbreak, and depression, there's very little that this album has to offer other than that. Plain and simple, Digital Druglord is, in my opinion, the worst album so far that 2017 has had to offer, although I can definitely see something even worse than this happening by the end of the year. For Digital Druglord, I am feeling a light 1 out of 10, which is the probably the worst rating that I've given an album in a very long time. I will have the Spotify link down in the description if you guys would like to listen to this one. Like I said, it's just not good. Not good at all. Stay away from it at all costs if you can. And if you want to listen to this thing, if you just really like that bland electronic R&B sound, sure, go ahead and listen to this thing. But if you want something more profound in terms of lyrics, if you want to get something, some nice social commentary, something like that, you're not gonna find it in this album. Steer towards another direction. Yeah, not good. I'm Landon Remixes. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll catch you later. Peace.